I get the question, "Hey, Fernie, I'm talking to a prospect. They're interested in what I got. What do I say?" Well, that's the wrong question. The more effective question is, "What should I ask? What can I ask, or what might I ask?" You want to ask questions. The person answering the question, you've heard the quote before, controls the conversation. So you actually don't need to memorize a script in order to be effective with a prospect in Messenger or any conversation for that matter. It could be text message. You don't need to memorize a script. You just need to know what questions to ask. More importantly, what types of questions to ask. And you don't need to know a lot of types of questions. You need to know three types of questions to ask. And I don't even need to I'm going to give you some examples of questions to ask, but I don't need to even give you the questions if I tell you what it is you're trying to achieve with those questions. What is the goal in mind? So I'm going to teach you a little mini version of what we call here at Attraction Marketing an enrollment conversation. An enrollment conversation is different from a sales conversation in that you don't need to memorize anything. You don't even need to have crazy sales skills in order to do this. You just need to know what it is, what types of answers you're looking for so that you can design the questions most appropriate for your prospects. So I'm going to share with you what those questions are, what the goal in mind is with these questions. But before I do, I want to make sure that you know something around the mindset that you need to be in when asking these questions. And it's okay if this is going to cut a little deep. It'll cut deep for me because I used to be in this way. Because if you're approaching the conversation with a mindset of like, I don't want to screw this up. I want to like say the right thing so I can so I can like maybe convert this person into a prospect or into a team member or to a customer. What do I say? I don't want to screw it up. I want to say the right thing. Notice that that mindset is all about you. That mindset is all about you don't want to screw it up. It's about what's in it for you and you not wanting to screw it up so that you can benefit from that conversation. And that's a mindset that does not work. It won't serve you at all. And unless you're a sociopath, the what I'm going to share with you needs to come from a place of service. So you need to come from a mindset of I want to serve and I want to help people with their problems. That's the mindset. And if you're doing attraction marketing, the people that you're attracting, that you're connecting with, have a high probability of having problems that are in a direct alignment with what you offer in terms of your product or maybe even your opportunity. So you need to make sure that you're doing attraction marketing properly, meaning you actually have a target market in mind. Everyone is not your prospect. These conversations will be a lot easier when you already know with a high degree of probability the people that you're connecting with already likely have the problems that your product helps to solve. Or even if you're more advanced, your opportunity helps to solve. And so here's where this will work. So type me number 5 in the chat if you understand that this needs to come from a place of service. It needs to come from like, I want to help these people, and you're going to be most effective when you already can anticipate what their needs are going to be. So type me number 5 if that makes sense. I am here to serve. So that needs to be where you're coming from. I'm here to serve. I'm here to help. And the only way you can help somebody is if you understand their problems and their challenges, so that like a doctor, you can give a prescription. Like a consultant, you can make a recommendation. Like an expert, you can, tell them, you can suggest what to do next. That's going to be in their best interest, not your best interest. Hope that makes sense. So that's where it needs to come from first. I'm not going to do training on target market here or on how it is to attract people in your target market. How do you choose a target market? We've done some training in the past, and really that's something that really requires quite a bit of mentoring and coaching. We have AI tools in our coaching program that it can help people do that research to help them dial that in. But this assumes that you already are attracting a certain type of person with certain problems. It also assumes that that they're responding to something. So this process that I'm going to share with you assumes that the people that you're interacting with are interested in what you do. due to them actually seeing something that indicates to them that you can help them solve a particular problem. So this could be them responding to one of your social media posts. Let's say you did a post talking about the results you've gotten yourself from your product, for example. Um, Now you don't say what product you don't want to like be posting your company's name or logo or a picture of the product or any of that stuff. You're more talking about what you've been able to accomplish and do your story, for example. Stories work really well on social media. And again, this is not a training on social media. This is just you did a social media post and people responded and they reach out to you and say, "Hey, what are you doing? Like, I like to learn more about how you did that." And so they're responding to social media post. This could also be preceded by you reaching out proactively to somebody that you've been in conversation with, either personally or through social media, and you reach out to them with a message. It could be a text message, it could be a messenger message, saying that you're checking to see if they're still looking to solve a problem. So again, you reached out to them because something told you, or something you saw something, or maybe they have mentioned it in the past, that you're reaching out because you're wanting to see if they're still looking to solve this problem. So that leads me to an optional question that you might need, depending on whether you need depending on how the conversation started. uh, when you're doing outreach, whether to your warm market or you're doing outreach to people that are you're interacting with social media, and they've expressed that they have a need or a problem, or they wish things were different or whatever, you want to start off that type of conversation with something like, "Hey, a permission question." So the permission question goes like this: "Hey, I saw that you expressed frustration with this problem." So whatever, describe what that is. "Hey, I saw you talked about like your frustration with losing weight, or your frustration with being able to save enough money, or your frustration with fill in the blank. Curious if you're still looking to," and then fill in the blank, the information about the problem. "I think I found something, or I think I have something that can help." So that outreach is trying to get permission to help them with something that you've observed they said they have a problem with. Now they haven't given permission you yet. You don't want to throw up on them about everything you're doing. You just need to ask them the question. "Hey, I saw you saw that you were fill in the blank. Curious if you're still looking to fill in the blank. I think I found something that could help you." Again, this could be for an acquaintance or someone close to you that you're reaching out to them through text message. You can ask them that question in person too. But it can also operate with Messenger if somebody's interacting in your social media and they've expressed a frustration. Maybe they did a post that something really pissed them off, that you might be able to help them with, whatever the case may be. So now that wasn't one of the three questions. That's only if you want to be proactive about reaching out to people and proactively get more prospects in front of you. Now um, those prospects might not convert as well as the people that reached out to you, but that's opportunities that you can drum up, that you can create. So again, that's a permission-based question. And by the way, if you miss anything I share, for the sake of brevity, I'm not going to repeat it. I might repeat it a few times, but you can always watch the recording. The recording is going to appear in this group, and you can go back and watch again. I don't want to slow down for that reason. So again, this is a permission question. You only need to ask that question if you proactively reached out to people that haven't reached out to you, but you know they might have a problem. So it's more like, "Hey, I saw that you have this problem. Curious if you're still looking to solve this problem, whatever that problem is. You need to fill in the blank. I think I found something that can help, or I think I have something that can help." Something like that. You don't need to say it verbatim. You just need to ask their permission to help them with that problem. That's the part that you need to remember. Ask permission to help them solve the problem. And you can craft the question however you need to in order to get that answer. So that's the first part. Again, this is what opens you up, where you can proactively be connecting with people that haven't reached out to you. So this solve immediately. So if no one's reaching out to you yet because you've just got started online, or if your warm market doesn't know what you're doing yet, this is how you kind of can break the ice in an authentic way. And you're reaching out. Here's the reason I love this question is because you're reaching out to people and being transparent about it. It's so unlike the rest of the network marketing world that basically is teaching people to trick people into meetings, or don't give them too much information. You're leading with the reaching out. The reason we're talking is because you said, or you expressed, or I think you have this problem. Curious if you found anything. I think I found something that can help. That's it. Like, you're asking permission to help them with something that you know is a problem for them. So again, that this will work to proactively give you leads, bring leads to you. Now, if somebody reaches out to you on Messenger saying, "Hey, I saw that you, I saw your post. Curious, what are you doing? That's amazing." Or how did you get those results? Or who did you go to solve this problem? If they're reaching out to you, well, guess what? They've already given you permission. So you don't need to ask the permission question. You don't need to ask permission to help them solve a particular problem, because they've already given you permission by asking you, "Hey, what are you doing?" So that's the reason the permission question is like question zero, because sometimes it's needed, sometimes it's not. It's not needed if you're being proactive and reaching out. Or sorry, it's needed if you're being proactive and reaching out. It's not needed if somebody is reaching out to you. Does that make sense? Type me a number 10 in the chat if this is making sense. I know you guys are probably furiously writing notes and stuff, but don't worry. I recommend you listen, get it, and then you can watch the recording later if you want to write down the specific questions I'm using as an example. So that's how I recommend it. Make sure it's sinking in and making sense. Just follow along, and then you can always go back to the recording. The replay is not going to go anywhere, guys, so don't worry. All right. Now let's get into the 3 magic questions. So let's say a person either has given you permission to share more about solving a certain problem, or they've reached out to you expressing interest in what it is you're doing to solve the problem that you said you solved, right? Something along those lines. So the first question you want to ask, and oftentimes, and by the way, all this is based on a more extensive training that we did for our coaching students, but I'm giving you the Cliff Notes version here, and it should still make sense, and you should still be able to implement it. The next type of questions is a type of, I call them problem questions. You want to understand their problems as they understand them. So when somebody's giving you permission, or they've reached out to ask, the thing you want to look for is you want to understand what are their specific problems. So you want to ask a question that gets them to open up about their problems. So this question could be something like, let's say they reach out and say, "Hey, I saw you posted a video about this, or that you did a post about this. Like, what are you doing? I want to know." And you want to, again, don't just ask the question. Be cordial and be friendly. Go, "Hey, man, good to hear from you. I'm so it's great to hear from you. Absolutely happy to help." And now you get to the question. So what preceded it was you just being friendly. "Hey, absolutely happy to help. Great to hear from you." Now here's a question. Something that sounds like this. "Curious, what motivated you, or what prompted you to reach out?" Or here's another example. "Curious, what compelled you to reach out? What's going on?" Or here's another example. "Hey, absolutely happy to help. To make sure I recommend the right thing, do you mind sharing a little bit about some of the issues or challenges that you're facing?" See, it depends on how they approach you. If they say, "Hey, if they off the bat go, "Hey, I've been looking for something like what you have," well, then they've already kind of implied they have a problem. So you may want to ask, what are their specific issues? So again, however you phrase the question, what you're trying to do is get them to share what are their problems, what are their challenges, what are their frustrations. And you can do all of this with one question. You guys give me some ideas in the chat. What's a question you might ask to get somebody to share what their challenges or problems are, and do it in a way that is natural, the way you would ask a friend in a conversation if they're asking for help. And the reason you start with the problems, the reason you don't just throw up your link or you send them a video or whatever, is because remember, you're the doctor, you're the consultant. In order for you to give a recommendation or prescription, there's information that you need to intake. And what this is going to do is going to begin the process of helping them feel understood by you. And that's going to give your solution, when you recommend it at the appropriate time, credibility. So Cassandra's saying, so what are you struggling with that has caused you to reach out to me? Perfect. That's great. Like, again, don't overcomplicate it. Ultimately, all you need to, I'll summarize what it is, the types of questions, like the categories, and now you'll have the process, and you just be able to come up with the questions on your own. I'll give you some examples here. So again, you asked the question, curious, what compelled you or what caused you to reach out? What's going on? Something like that's going to get them to share some of their problems or challenges, right? So these are problem-based questions. The next, once they answer, be sure to be empathetic to whatever they share with you. So you want to say something like, got it. And they say something encouraging, say something like where you're like, maybe saying, oh yeah, I've been through that. I've gone through the same thing, or it wasn't too long ago that I'm right there. I was right there with you, man. Something that shows that you understand them. So that's kind of like in between questions, you want to just show some empathy, show some connection, be a human being. But then that leads you into asking the next type of question, which is, what are their goals? What type of results are they looking for? So these are results or goal oriented questions. So these type of questions, the way they look, what they look like is pretty simple. Again, not rocket science. So again, you say, when they answer the problem based question, you answer, got it. Then you say something encouraging, and then you ask, do you have a goal in mind? Or you can say, is there a particular goal or result you're looking for? Or, if it's weight loss, curious, how much weight are you looking to lose? Curious, how much weight are you looking to lose? Or, you guys can come up with the answer. You guys give me a what do you want to achieve? Thank you for being proactive, David. Yeah, what do you want to achieve? How far do you want to get? So again, a goal question. Now it's only one question you need to ask. If necessary, you can ask, a follow-up question if you need to get more information. But you guys remember, this is Messenger. This might be happening through a text message. And it's happening with people very likely that don't know you. You don't want them to write an essay, or you don't want to ask them a million questions. So far, if somebody is reaching out to you that doesn't know you, but they saw some of your content, well, then you want to understand their problems and what are their goals. 2 questions. That's it. Those are the 2 questions they answer, and then you move on. That's all you're trying to do. They might give you 1-word answers. That's okay. Like, some people just don't want to share. That's okay. If they give you 1-word answers, great. If they prefer not to ask the question, you move on to the next questions. So you don't get stuck. You don't force them to answer the questions over and over again. All right. So far we've covered permission-based questions that are basically just when you're doing outreach to somebody. And then we talked about problem-based questions, which is about understanding their problems, having them say out their problems out loud. The next set of questions was goal or result-oriented questions, trying to get them to tell you what they're looking to do, what results, how much weight they're looking to lose, or how much debt they're looking to get out of, all that stuff. All right. The next and final set of questions that are discovery-based questions, where you're trying to get information from them. These are, I would call them motivation or vision-based questions. So motivation or vision-based questions. So the question is about asking them what's basically trying to get what's truly motivating them beyond just wanting to lose weight. What's the real reason they're wanting to lose weight? Like, what is the bigger reason? And I'm not going to use the word why. What's their why? I don't have time to talk about Why I think why is BS, but um, this is vision based questions. So, or you could call it a dream based question, but it's not necessarily always a positive thing that's motivating them to do this now. So, a motivation based question can look something like this. So, when they answer the results question or their goal question, they answer that. Again, got it. That's that sounds like a great goal, man. Really proud of you. So again, empathy. You want to like respond to them and affirm what they've shared with you is something that they're not crazy for thinking that or wanting to achieve that, and that you can relate to it. So always show empathy in between the questions. But then the next set of question, how do you ask a vision based questions or a motivation question is, got it. Is there a particular date or timeline you're looking to hit this by? Is there a big event coming up? Or here's another example. What's causing you to want to do something about this now, like versus wait till later? Or what's motivating you to want to take action on this now? Or what's motivating you to want to achieve this now? Like you see, like you're trying to get like what's the real motivation? Maybe the motivation is that they have a wedding coming up and they want to look their best. Maybe the motivation, so it's a particular event, or maybe the motivation is a fear-based thing where their doctor gave them some bad news and they're looking to solve this problem because they're afraid of what the future looks like if they don't solve this problem. Now, the reason this is I don't say it's a dream question because they could either give you a negative, like this is a big goal I have, or dream, and I want my life to look like this, or they can give you a negative answer, which is like their fear. Whatever they choose to give you, it's all motivation. Negative motivation, positive motivation, they're motivated. So they're expressing out loud to you what is really motivating them. So Lyle is saying, why now? Is there something coming up? Lyle, that's awesome. That's a great question. Why now? Like what's caused you to all of a sudden be motivated now? So that's really great, Lyle. So again, a motivation question: what is truly motivating them? Why now? Like you've been living with this for a while, or you've been dealing with this for a while. What's motivating you to finally want to solve this problem now? See, and the purpose of all of these questions. So far we've covered permission-based questions, and that's optional depending on whether you're if somebody reached out to you, you don't need that, but you definitely need the next three type of questions: problem question, result or goal questions, and then motivation questions. These are all the questions you need answered. If your prospect answers 2 out of the 3 or even 1 out of the 3, good enough. If they don't want to like answer, don't force them, don't like push them. Again, this is someone you don't really know. And so, but again, the more they share, the more it moves in your favor, because the more somebody expresses out loud to another human being what their problems are, what their goals are, and what's really motivating them to solve this problem, then that drives up their level of motivation, because only crazy people tell another person all about their problems, what they wish they are able to achieve, and the reason it's important to them, and then all of a sudden say no to the solution. That's the brilliance of the psychology of what's happening here, is that a sane person will be motivated to basically take you up whatever you offer next, whatever you recommend next. A sane person will have created so much momentum towards getting the solution that they would really have to be crazy in order to go no. Or they would have to be broke, where they really truly can't afford it. Like whatever you recommend afterwards, it becomes a real money objection. And at that point, if it's a real money objection, then they're like, then maybe you can work with them on figuring it out, and you can ask them permission to kind of help them figure it out. But it's what you're doing here is driving up the motivation. They're expressing out loud all the reasons they want to do something, and it'd be kind of crazy for them to all of a sudden go, no, that's okay, I'm not interested anymore. They just told you all the reasons it's meaningful for them to accomplish these goals, to fix the problem. Guys, let me know give me some fire emojis if you guys are getting value from this process. I'm not done yet because I still have to tell you what you do after this, but I want to see if this is sinking in for you guys, and then if you guys are learning something. I think this is probably one of the most important lessons that a network marketer can learn, regardless of how they're building their business, online, offline, etc. Because now I've empowered you with how to have a conversation where you're simply asking questions, and the prospect is the person that is motivating themselves to want to move forward with you, regardless of what it is you're selling. All right. So let's say, so you've created the motivation, you ask the questions, they answer. That's really that simple. They answer, you're increasing the probability that they're going to move forward. Now, are you going to convert everybody? No. Are there crazy people in the world? Yes, many. So again, just because you run into a crazy person that answers all the questions and then and then they ghost you, don't worry about it. Like, and again, not a big deal. And by the way, if you reach out to somebody and you say, "Hey, are you still looking to solve this problem?" And they're like, "No, man, I found something already. It's working pretty well for me." And they're like, "Okay, cool." See, it's not rejection anymore at that point. It doesn't feel like rejection. It's just, hey, they found something they're focused on. Great. It's not awkward in any way. And so here's what you do next. So after you've have them answer all the questions, again, in Messenger, this is 3 questions. And sometimes, depending on the conversation, you may only be able to ask 2 of the questions. Or they might answer so much information that they actually answer most of the questions for you. Where they might, in one answer, tell you the problem they're looking to solve, the results they're looking to achieve, and the reason they're wanting to do it now. So you don't need to ask the question if you already got the answer. If asking once gave you all 3 of the types of answers, then you're done. See what I mean? You're in your mind, what you're thinking is process. I want to know what their challenges are or problems are. I want to know what their goals are, and I want to know what's motivating them. And if they answer all of that in one shot, you're done. You're done. And then you move on to the call to action. The call to action, it can take on many forms. And depending on what tools your company, your upline, or you have available to you to use, then you leverage those tools. It might be a video that they can watch. It might be an ATM group. It might be like, here's a link and go buy. It might be to book a call because what you have is a service that requires actually having a conversation. Maybe you're financial services and you actually need to kind of like show them more or having a more extensive conversation. This can lead to all of those things. It can lead to them buying. It can lead to them booking a call with you to have a deeper conversation. It can lead to them watching a video. It can lead to being added to a group where they can get more information. Whatever is recommended by your upline, if you do this question-based process, then whatever your upline has you do is probably going to work better than if you don't ask these questions. And not probably, it will. I can pretty much say that with a high degree of certainty. All right. Now the call to action part is they've answered the questions. So you can say, and again, show empathy. You want to adjust this so it's appropriate for the conversation based on what they're sharing. If they give you some sort of tragic story about the death of a loved one, whatever, then don't just be focused on your question. Actually acknowledge that they shared something very personal to them. You can be human. Okay. All right. So in the call to action is this. You could say something like, "That's great. Thank you for sharing," or I appreciate you willing to share that with me. You can say something encouraging. Depending on what they share, say something encouraging, say something empathetic, say something that is positive, whatever's appropriate. And then you say, based on what you shared, I think I might be able to help you. Is it okay if we fill in the blank? Now, whatever it is you're recommending to them you do next, that's where you fill in the blank. Is it okay if we book a call? Are you okay with us having a call so we can dive deeper? Are you, based on what you shared, I think I might be able to help you. Here's what I recommend you do. Or based on what you shared, I think I might be able to help you. Is it okay if I recommend the products that I would take in your situation? let them respond, give them you're asking for permission again. Now, you don't really need their permission, but the reason it's useful to ask their permission again to share what is next is because you also want them to say yes multiple times throughout the conversation. The more they say yes, they're referred to as trial closes in sales psychology. But I mean, it's really just asking them permission so they whatever you recommend, they can't get mad at you, right? So again, if they say no ultimately, or if they can't move forward, it's not going to feel like rejection. They're not going to get mad at you because they're the ones that gave you permission to share it. So it kind of protects you from and it protects the relationship, right? Or it leaves the door open for later. But it also gets them to say yes and builds momentum towards them actually moving forward. So ask for permission. Yeah, based on what you shared, I think I can help you. Is it okay if I fill in the blank? If I share a video with you, or if I make a recommendation for you, if I tell you is it okay if I tell you share exactly what I would do in your situation? Is it okay if we book a call? Whatever you think is the most the most effective next step. Wait for their response, and then you say, okay, well, this is what we're going to do. And then you tell them what to do. And that's it. You tell them what to do. It could be buy it. Now, something that would enhance this even more is if you have a company linked to a certain product and you have the ability to give a discount, then hook them up with that discount and let them know that, hey, this I'm going to give you a discount code. This is only good for today. So here's the link. You want to jump on it today. If you choose to get it later, you certainly can. It just will cost you more. Or whatever, create some sort of urgency or some reason to act now. Maybe your company has a promotion. Maybe there's a bonus product that they're going to get. Whatever it is, if at all possible, create urgency that is external. So what we talked about so far in this process is internal motivation. External motivation is like a promotion or a discount code or a bonus or some reason they got to get it now. Otherwise, they're going to lose out on something. That's external motivation versus internal motivation, which is what we've talked about most of the call. If your company doesn't have that, it's cool. Internal motivation is going to be plenty. Let me see. Kyle, I appreciate you confiding in me. If I can recommend something that can help you with would you be interested? Kyle, that's awesome. Kyle's good at this. You can tell he has experience having these conversations. I love that. Wish I had this info a few days ago. Definitely blew my mind. Blew it on my cold messages. Yeah. Now again, so this process can work, but how well it works depends on how warm the prospect is. If you are doing attraction marketing where people are reaching out to you, I'm going to make sure that, if you're doing attraction marketing where people are reaching out to you because they saw something you're doing on social media that's attracted them to you, it's going to work better. If you're using this process through a cold messaging strangers, you're probably not going to get past the first, permission question because it's just cold messaging sucks. We don't teach cold messaging. We don't recommend it. We recommend that you be connecting and networking with people, on either attracting them through content or networking in a very targeted approach. Again, I couldn't get to that on this training here. But again, a whole marketing is all about being targeted. So if you want to market, if you want to learn how to use attraction marketing to build your network marketing business, then, you're going to need coaching on how to figure out where do you actually go fishing, if you will, or what type of messaging would you put out there through your social media content that would be seen by people you don't know and therefore attract those people you don't know that already have a need for what you have to offer. Therefore, it's a very natural thing for them to want to be interested and reach out to you. So that's a marketing part of it. There's some content that we did a couple weeks ago on Reels where you can learn about that stuff. But if here at Attraction Marketing, we have a guarantee. If with students who are in our coaching programs, if you're not generating 3 to 7 new enrollments by the end of your program and you do everything we asked you to do, then we will continue coaching you until you do. And so we can say that because as you guys saw, this stuff works. And you can actually it's obvious that it works. And it's maybe you're going, man, well, how come I didn't think of this? Or why didn't I know this? Well, it's it's all we're doing is just going back and revisiting how human beings actually have conversations around their problems. And if you're a human being that is having a conversation with someone you care about their problems, it is very natural for you to want to share, if you have something, what can help them. And so this is basically just modeling what that conversation would look like with people that you don't know. And so that's it, guys. Again, the process here is something we've taught on a deeper level. We actually have an hour-long training on how to have more in-depth conversations inside of our curriculum here at Attraction Marketing for our students. This is more like what you would, the mini conversation you would have inside a messenger before you give people the next steps. And if you implement this right now, I guarantee it'll enhance your results and lead to less rejection, lead to less awkward conversations, and you'll be operating fully authentically, which is, I think, ideally how we all want to do. Guys, if you want to learn what it looks like to be a student here at Attraction Marketing and get some information and have a short conversation with someone on our team that's not going to pitch you, it's more of a discovery call, then type the word guarantee in the chat and somebody on our team will reach out.